Hi everybody, it's Mark Sams here from NinjaOutreach, and today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to use NinjaOutreach to get featured on interviews and podcast websites. Now, our co-founder Dave, he has been featured on a ton of podcasts, and it didn't happen by accident. We actually was proactive and we got ourselves out there in a way that allowed us to be featured on these podcasts. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can go and do that for your business and your brand also. Now, as you're probably aware, interviews are a great way to get exposure for both your product and your brand. And I like them specifically because when you're doing an interview, you're basically being given the green light to promote yourself and your brand as you're explaining about like your journey and the different things you've done to build your business, and you get the green light to sort of talk about your brand on to somebody else's audience. In addition to that, I really like podcasts because they don't require any writing. Simply, you just turn up 30 to 60 minutes and you just be yourself, and anybody can do that. It's just like you just talk about your business, you talk about yourself, you answer the questions, and it's something that obviously anybody can actually do. Now, as a company, we've had numerous interviews, and Dave has like gone ahead and done a ton of interviews. He's been featured on a ton of different websites. I'm going to show you some of them right now. Now, there's a few reasons why I like podcasts. The first is that it allows you to build relationships with other marketers, other people that are in the same industry as you, and you get to build a relationship with them. Because if you spend 30 to 60 minutes with somebody talking about your journey, conversing with that person, there's like a subconscious relationship that's being built, rapport that's being built that allows you to then continue that further on down the line. And stuff like that is very important. Like the whole premise of NinjaOutreach is all about reaching out to people and engagement and relationships. So we drink our own Kool-Aid, and we actually use our own methodologies to grow our own business, and we can prove that. So, for example, as you can see here, like we're on a website called conversionaid.com, and the owner Omar Khan, he's interviewed Dave. You can see that I done a really nice title, how to use influencer marketing to grow your SaaS business. Got like a nice little picture of Dave there with some information, startup masterclass, and you've obviously got the audio and everything there. Plus, in addition to that, there's some show notes, and on top of that, what you've got as well is you've also got a link. Now, this is not the most important thing, but it's good to have. You've got a link back to our website. Okay, so we've got a link from this website back to our website, and as I say again, it's a great way to build relationships with the owner of the website, the actual person that's hosting the interview, but also their audience as well. Because when you're doing an interview, you reveal things about your business, like intimate aspects of your business and your personal life that the person wouldn't necessarily get just from going to your website, and it makes you more relatable and approachable, and it makes people from, rather than just being just random visitors on your site, they're now people that are already fans of you, already like you, and they're coming to your site with a much better attitude when they're looking at your products and services. And this obviously continues on. Like I've got a few tabs up here open, so you can see here that Dave was also on Tropical Entrepreneur, six-figure travel blogger to SaaS entrepreneur with Dave Schneider of NinjaOutreach, and you can see. Again, nice picture, interview, show notes broken down, and obviously you've got like you got our email address to us there, and it's just a great way to obviously get to know different people's audience through talking about your journey as a business owner. And it's the same again and again. Like you literally got all of these different companies. They're linking over to you. They're talking about you, and you're getting to expose yourself and your business to these different business owners. And I can just go on and on with all of the different people that we've done interviews with. We've even been on one of the biggest like marketing podcasts, business related podcasts online. at the moment, and that's Entrepreneur on Fire. And Dave was interviewed by John Lee Dumas over there, so you can see that that's the case. And again, nice show notes broken down, link over to our website, and a great way to obviously build a relationship with his audience, with him, things like that. So it's just a really great way to get yourself out there and get exposure in a different way than other than writing content and blog posts and stuff like that, or guest blog posting. It's just another way of using outreach to get exposure to your brand. So let's now get into how to do it. So let's start off in Ninja Outreach, okay? And we're on the front page, and we're in the content prospecting section tab, okay? And let's start with something like, let's say we're trying to get featured on people's podcasts in the marketing industry, for example. So literally, if you just start off, the most simplest thing, you just literally type in marketing, select how many results you want it to show you. You just click on search, and there you go. You've got like over 5,000 results around marketing. Okay, now not all of these sites are going to necessarily offer podcasts on them. So something that you can do is you can click on advanced filters, and you can click on all featured pages, and we've got some different special pages that you can select from, things like giveaways, product reviews, sponsored posts, guest blog posts, interviews, or podcasts. Now obviously we want a podcast. You can just click on podcast, and what that does is that gives you all of the results that specifically offer podcasts within on their website, and they're around marketing. Another thing that you can do also is you can just type in marketing podcasts and run a search like that. Again, this time, because you've typed in marketing podcasts, you don't need to necessarily put the filter in this time round, but you've got marketing podcasts, and it's an exact match. And you've obviously here you've got a ton of other opportunities again of people that you can approach to do podcasts with. So it's really simple to obviously find these types of people, and obviously you just change the keyword to whatever your industry is so that you can get podcasts within your industry. Okay? You can do the exact same thing as well with the social prospecting tab, and this is all of the different Twitter and Instagram handles and people in the social media sphere that offer podcasts. So you can put in marketing podcasts again, set your results to how many you want them to be, and straight away you can see that you've got a ton of results here for different marketing podcasts. And you've got people's websites, you've got how many followers they've got and stuff like that. So you've got all the information you need to make a decision as to who you want to reach out to be on their podcast. And the key thing to remember, it's all about the keywords that you put in. So for example, don't just put in marketing podcasts, put in like marketing interviews, use different keywords that are in your industry. So it might be email marketing, digital marketing podcasts. It might be things like SEO podcasts and things like that. It really just depends on what your industry is. But use all the different keywords within your industry and put podcast at the end of it, put interview at the end of it, and it'll basically give you a diverse range of different people that you can approach to do podcasts with. Now, once you're happy with the list that you've got, literally all you need to do is just go over to Save All. You'll save your list, name the list, click on Save, make a name for your list and save it. You call it whatever it's about. So whatever your topic is, podcast, whatever your topic is, interviews, and save that in. And you can do the same with the content prospecting as well. Okay. So now we're moving on to actually performing the actual outreach, where you send emails out to where you send emails out to these different influencers and different people that you want to you want to appear on their show, and actually land a slot with them. So we're on to the section of performing the outreach and actually landing the slots. Okay. Now I want this training video to focus on the actual implementation of landing a slot on people's podcasts. So there's gonna be things that I talk about, and you might be like, how do I do that bit? How do I do that bit? So what I'm going to quickly show you where you go to do certain things that you might be asking questions about. Okay. So as I said, I'm going to show you how to actually do the outreach to actually land the slots. And what I also want to do is I want to take you to this page here, which is basically just go to NinjaOutreach.com/knowledge base. Okay, knowledge-base. And what you want to do here is there's two questions that might come up. You might be interested to know, how do you actually send emails out with Ninja Outreach and stuff like that. I don't want to sort of go into how the educational aspect of doing that, because there's already training on that. So what you do is just type in how to send, and as you can see, it's got there how to send emails with Ninja Outreach. Just click on that, and you've got a video and you've got training on exactly how to do that in this section here. So that's where you find that information. Now, if you're anything like me and the team, you use outsourcers and you manage a team to do a lot of the stuff for you in regard to the outreach side of things and stuff like that. And if you want to understand how to actually use Ninja Outreach to actually have your team do some of the stuff that I'm talking about here, literally again, it's NinjaOutreach.com/knowledge-base. That'll take you to this section here, and just type in manage. And you'll see you've got some training here on how to use Ninja Outreach to manage any outreach campaign with your team. Okay, so back to performing the outreach and actually landing these slots. So once you've done the prospecting and you found people where you want to be, you want to actually land a spot on their podcast, and you're happy with that list that you've got. It's about the outreach. It's about reaching out to these people and approaching them and asking them if you can actually be on their show. And all you need is a message template which is specific to interviews. And here's an idea of what one might sound like. Okay, so you can do that something like, hey, first name, I came across your podcast the other day while I was looking up for startup related shows to listen to while I'm in the gym. Nice. I was wondering if you had any slots. My name is, and obviously you changed the specific things here, like the personalization bits here. Like, so it's like, my name is Dave. I'm the founder of NinjaOutreach.com, which is a blogger outreach software which launched in January. We're bootstrap, remote, SaaS startup, and I believe we have an interesting story and a destructive product. And we'd love to connect with you and your audience. Okay. Obviously, we go on to talk about, like, honestly, I don't like talking about myself much, but you can obviously read through this. I'm just going to leave this here for a second so you guys can read through it. But it's really just I think the key aspects of the things here is that you obviously introduce yourself. You want to personalize it by talking about their name. You want to personalize it by telling them how you came across them. You want to ask for what you want. I was wondering if I had any slots. Okay, if you had any slots, you want to tell them who you are and what you're about. Okay, you want to, and your business is about, and then pretty much you want to show them some references of places where you've actually been featured already. If you haven't, then just leave that out, and then when you do get featured, you can add that into your template. And at the end, you just say, see you later, thanks, bye. And I know it sounds so simple, but that's it. That is pretty much all you have to do. You just write a nice message to somebody, telling them, personalize them, so using their name, telling them who you are, what you're asking for, a little bit about yourself, keep it short and sweet, and send that out to them. Send the emails out to them. And that's it. I don't want to make it more complicated than anything like. I know there's big courses out there on how to do podcasting and so on and so forth, and people are charging you like hundreds to even grands how to do that, but that's it. This is it. This is all you need to do, is have a nice message, and you can edit this and tweak this and change this around, but the general premise is to just have a decent message that has their name, tells them who you are, what you're about, how you came across them, and some references to what you've done in the past. Even if you haven't done any, leave that out for now and just send that out and start sending it out. You send it out to 20 people, you're going to get a response. Send it out to 50 people, you're going to get a few responses. You just keep sending out that message to all the different marketers out there, and people are going to respond because they want people for the show. They want interesting stories for their show, and people are going to respond. So that's all you've got to do. I just want to bring some bonus information to your attention as well. A really cool thing about NinjaOutreach is that we've got some pre-created templates for you. So if you click on the Manage Templates section of your navigation, you can come into this section here and you'll see that you've got some example templates that you can mess about with, edit and change. You can create a brand new one from scratch if you want to, or you can use a pre-approved one that we've already used in the past and we know works. And pretty much you can either just use it from scratch. Obviously just have to edit the bits where it's like it says my name is Dave, you put your name, John, Dominic, whatever your name is, your business, and you just edit it towards your business and your industry, and you're pretty much good to go, and you can start sending out messages and start getting featured on people's podcasts, getting links back to your website, building relationship with other influencers, and building relationship with their audience in a way that you can't do just through that person finding your website. So that is how to use NinjaOutreach to get featured on interviews and podcasts. Signing off until the next episode.